Hello students, let's move towards our next topic, that is silk. Which silk In the last video we have learned about the wool fiber. Now in this video we are going to learn about the silk fiber. Silk fiber is an animal fiber which is obtained from the silkworms. As we all know that this wool fiber is obtained from the sheep or many animals like uh, and here silk is also obtained from the animals, that is silkworm. One process is there, that is sericulture. It is the breeding and rearing of silkworms in order to obtain silk from them. That means farmers are breeding and rearing the silkworms. Breeding means to, in Hindi word, breeding means palna, means to grow the to grow that silkworms, and rearing means to feed them at time to time and to use them to get the silk fiber, that is known as sericulture. Now here is the life history is there about the silk moth, that how the farmers are able to get the silk. That first, female silk moth lay eggs. Silk moth means the adult stage of a silkworm. That means in the human beings also male and females are there, and the females are able to reproduce their young ones. Like that, in the silkworm, female silk moth lays egg. Not only one or two or three, four eggs, hundred of eggs at a time they are laying. Then hatch larvae are produced called caterpillar or silkworm. When the legs get warmness or the heatness, then it starts hatching and then it converts into the form called caterpillar or the silkworm. Then grow in size and ready for the next stage called pupa. Then when the caterpillar starts growing in size and growing up continuously, then it comes again into the next stage, that is called pupa. Weaves are net to hold itself. When the caterpillar converts into the form of pupa, then it weaves are net towards its surrounding to hold itself. Weaves means to neat, means bunna. Weaves are net to hold itself. Then caterpillar then swings its head in the shape of it. When it covers itself into the net, then it starts swings its head in the shape of it, means like that, in the form of this 8 it starts doing the swings its head. When it swings its head, fiber is secreted. Like in the process of digestion in human beings, when the food enters into the body or enters into the stomach, then it digestive juice or the salivary glands start secreting some juices, so that we are easily able to digest our food. Like that, in the silkworms also, when the caterpillar covers itself into the net, then it starts secreting the fiber. This fiber is not the silk, but this fiber is made up of protein, and as it comes contact with air, it hardens and forms silk fiber. That fiber is in the form of protein, and when it comes into the contact with air, then it becomes hardened, then it forms the shape of silk fiber. Now caterpillar then covers itself into silk and turns into pupa. Then again, when the silk fiber is secreted, then again the caterpillar cover itself into that silk fiber and then converts into the form of pupa. This covering is called cocoon. When the caterpillar covers itself into the net or into the silk fiber, that covering is known as cocoon. Then caterpillar turns into silk moth inside this covering. When the caterpillar covers itself, then when the cocoons get started making, then caterpillar may turns into the form of silk moth. That means the female version of the silkworm. Then the silk yarn is obtained from the cocoon of silk moths. When Then at the last the the cocoon is obtaining from, then the silk yarn is obtained from the cocoon of that silk worms. Many silk fibers are available in the market. One of the most famous is mulberry silk moth, which is very soft, elastic and shiny. So now let's move towards the next things, that is the process of obtaining silk from the silkworm. In order to obtain silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. When we want to get the silk from the silkworms, the farmers or the peoples are obtaining the silk moths, and then they are rearing, that means they are growing up time to time, and the peoples are feeding them time to time, and then their cocoons, and then at the last their cocoons are collected to get the silk threads. Here is two processes are there to get the silk from the silkworms: rearing silkworms and the processing silk. Rearing silkworms means to rearing silkworm means to growing the silkworms to get the silk fiber. Rearing silkworm. Silkworms, farmers buy eggs and raise them. That means the farmers in this process are getting buying the eggs of the silkworm, and then they are raising them, or they by feeding them properly. Kept under suitable condition, they are putting that eggs into the suitable condition, that means not too much hot, not too much cold. Then eggs are warmed, hatch larvae. When the eggs are getting suitable condition, then after some times eggs are started getting warmness from the sunlight directly, and then it start hatches and converts into the form of larva. They eat day and night and grow. When the eggs are hatches, then it again, then farmers allow free them to eat day and night and then grow. Kept in clean bamboo tree with mulberry leaves, and when they are start growing, then the farmers are putting them into the clean bamboo tree with the mulberry leaves. When the fresh mulberry trees leaves are there, then only the silkworms are able to grow properly. Then move to a chamber to build a cocoon. In that bamboo tree, they are getting some chambers are there, so that they may easily able to move to build a cocoon. Then small racks are provided to cocoon get attached. Then in that chamber, small racks are there through which the cocoons are able to get attached to each other. Then silkworms spin the cocoon inside, and then it started spinning the cocoon inside the silkworms. Then the next process is, and here we are getting the cocoon from with the help of silkworm. Then the next process is processing silk. After rearing the silkworms, here is the process of getting silk. As the cocoons are obtained, they are kept under sun or boiled to separate the silk fiber. When we get the cocoon, then we are keeping it under the sun, or we are boiling it properly to separate the silk fiber from the cocoon. Then reeling the silk. Here is a process through which we are able to get the silk. That means process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk. That means we are taking out the thread from when we are boiling the cocoons, or when we are keeping the cocoon into the sun, then we are easily able to get taking out that thread to use as a silk. Then silk fiber thus obtained are drawn and rolled into the threads, and when we and at the last, when we get that silk threads, then we are putting it into the yarn and then using as a silk.